Hey guys, so this is the Twistura D minor. Now on paper, this is just another dynamic driver in your monitor, which gives you options of replaceable tuning nozzles that give you different sound signatures, and it also throws in a portable DAC right in the box. So this is nothing new, many brands have done this. But all of this completely changes when you consider that the Twistura D minor is going to cost you less than 3,000 rupees. So let's talk about that. Now it comes in a rather slick packaging. Sliding off the outer cover, we get this really nice box inside. Inside it, we get some paperwork. You get different pairs of silicone ear tips of various sizes. You get the included 3.5mm to USB-C portable DAC. You get the 2 additional pairs of tuning nozzles that offer you different sound signatures. You get what feels like a leather carrying pouch to carry these in-ear monitors and its accessories in. The oxygen-free copper silver-plated cable that feels rather nice in the hand. Now this has 2 pin connectors on one end, and the version I have comes with an inline microphone with a multifunction control button, and it ends in a 3.5mm audio jack. And of course you get the Twistura D minor in-ear monitors themselves. Now as for some of the key specs of the Twistura D minor, so these pack 10mm dynamic drivers in each of the in-ear monitors, and they have an impedance of 30 ohms. So once again, these are low impedance in-ear monitors, but as always, if you've seen my videos, I always suggest that you do invest in a portable DAC. Nothing too fancy or expensive, just something that can make sure that these can perform to their full potential without leaving anything in the tank. And what you get is just the best audio quality and the maximum volume that these can produce. Now fortunately, Twistura actually throws in its very own portable DAC right in the box, and overall the quality of the portable DAC is pretty good. It's got a braided cable, and overall it's got a very slim profile. Now as I mentioned, the Twistura D minor comes with different sets of tuning nozzles that give you different sound signatures. Now the one that comes attached is the tuning nozzle with the black ring that they call smooth reference, and this is supposed to give you a very neutral sound signature without much emphasis on the bass or the mids or the highs, so almost like a flat sound signature for you to analyze your music. Then you have the tuning nozzle with the red ring, which they call Classic Tune. This has a mild V sound signature, and this emphasizes a bit more bass and a bit more treble to make it sound a bit more fun, I would say. And finally, you have the tuning nozzle with the blue ring, which they call Fresh Pop, and this is going to give you the typical V sound signature with a lot of emphasis on the bass and a lot of emphasis on the treble response. Now let's talk about the appearance of the Twistura D minor, because it is the elephant in the room. It is really quirky, and honestly, I've never had a pair of in-ear monitors that look so unique, and I was really apprehensive about the comfort, about the ergonomics of these in-ear monitors, but lo and behold, it is very comfortable. It's got a very small size profile, so it doesn't really stick out, takes up the contours of your ears, and even for long listening sessions, I really had no discomfort at all. Now as for the build quality, this is where I was really surprised, because the part that is going to rest on your ear, that is made of zinc alloy. So it brings in that heft of metal, feels really robust and sturdy. Now the faceplate has got this resin covering, and again, it looks really nice. Got the Twistura logo. Overall, very unique, and I absolutely love it. And as for the cable quality, I have to say that for beginner in-ear monitors, I have seen so many of these brands giving you really flimsy and cheap feeling cables, but the Twistura D minor packs a cable that feels relatively high quality, not the highest, but definitely far above what I've faced from other beginner or entry level in-ear monitors. So kudos to Twistura for doing that. Okay, with all of that out of the way, let's talk about the main criteria, which is the audio quality. How did this perform in my testing? Now, if you're an existing viewer, you know that I judge in-ear monitors based on how they produce the 3 major frequencies that broadly make up any sound that you hear: the highs, the mids, and the lows. The highs are the treble response, where the really sharp sounding instruments are, the mids where the vocals are, and the low end or the bass response. Now, before I give you the breakdown of the highs, mids, and lows, let me tell you that I tried out all the 3 sets of tuning nozzles, and finally I settled on the tuning nozzle with the blue ring or the pop filter, and it gave me the most robust sound overall, with a nice balance of all the 3 frequencies. So going forward, the review I'm going to give you of the highs, mids, and lows is going to be based on the tuning nozzle with the blue ring. Alright, so starting off with the highs or the treble response. The treble response is packed with a lot of sharpness and a ton of clarity. So listeners who look for that sparkle in the treble response will definitely find it here, especially if you use the nozzle with the blue ring. However, anything beyond 75 to 80% volume on these in-ear monitors becomes quite piercing and sibilant. Now the ultra high frequencies on these in-ear monitors is what brings in that crispiness in the treble response, that sparkle, but the roll-off or the decay is not smooth. It's quite abrupt, and seasoned listeners will notice that right away. And this becomes even more evident when you raise the volume above 80%. But instruments in the high frequency range are very clearly audible and they are distinct from one another as well. It's just that anything above 80% volume becomes a bit unpleasant. But again, for casual listeners or beginners, you will definitely enjoy the treble response because they are very fun, sharp, and packed with a lot of detail. Next up, we have the mid frequencies where the vocals are. Now the vocals on the Twistura D minor sound a bit recessed. Now these do emphasize the upper mids, which adds a layer of clarity to the vocals, but they are not the richest in terms of tonality. However, they don't sound shouty or hollow in general. But if you max out the volume or go above 80%, that is when it loses out on that organic tonality and it sounds a bit altered. Now, instruments in the mid-frequency range sound fairly good and have good separation from one another. However, it's the upper mids where it sounds a bit cluttered, and it also depends on the track that you're listening to, but it happens a lot more often if you keep maxing out the volume. But please understand, this is me being very, very harsh. I'm speaking from the perspective of a seasoned listener. For any casual listener or a beginner, you are absolutely going to enjoy the vocals because they do a decent job. And finally, we get to the low end or the bass response. Unsurprisingly, the pop filter does make the bass more punchy, adds more thickness to it, and it also gives you that rumble of the sub-lows that makes any track that you're listening to more immersive. Now, while the bass isn't the most well-textured, yet it has sufficient punch to it, especially from that mid-bass. And from time to time, you also get the rumble of the sub-lows depending on the track. Now, the sub-lows aren't the most rumbly ones that I've heard, but the good thing is it doesn't struggle to produce that rumble. So overall, the bass response for a casual listener is more than sufficient. Now, no, it's not for a bass head. This gives you, like I said, a mild V sound signature. So it's warm overall and the bass response is quite thick, making your typical day-to-day music listening experience quite enjoyable. Now, as for the soundstage, it is decently wide, not the widest that I've heard, but it has decent imaging, letting you know the spacing between the instruments, the location of the instruments in the track. It is a fairly good job. So again, these would be okay for casual gamers as well. And as for the included microphone, it also did a decent job and my voice was clear on calls on the other end. So just to summarize, the Twistura D minor, I would say, is kind of like a game changer. From its unique appearance to its robust build quality, and the amount of accessories and customization that you get right in the box for the really affordable price tag, it's absolutely a winner. Now, by all means, this is meant for an absolute beginner. And for a beginner, this is the complete kit that you could ever want, and it throws you a portable DAC in the box. What more could you want? However, if you are a seasoned listener, obviously you can enjoy these, but definitely you do have other options out there that sound a bit more mature. But if you are on a tight budget and want something that includes all the bells and whistles, then the Twistura D minor is an absolute no-brainer and you should absolutely get it. So there you have it, guys. That was my review of the Twistura D minor in-ear monitor. I hope you've enjoyed that. If you have any other questions regarding this, do hit me up in the comment section below. I'll try my best to answer them. As always, the link to this in-ear monitor and many other in-ear monitors and products will be given in the description below. I would really appreciate if you use those links to make your purchase. That way you can help me run this channel and I can produce more such high quality and helpful content just for you guys. So thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Share this video and I'll catch you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.